Well, that was very exciting. The police rang me, which doesn't happen very often. Yes, we had a bit of trouble in the park near here the other day, and I was a witness. So, yes, so in other words, the usage of de and a with a faire in itself is something you need to be a little bit sensitive to because of the reasons that I've just said. So, for example, if you said, it's easy to open a bottle, c'est facile ou il est facile d'ouvrir une bouteille, you know, because of the de, the ouvrir, that you're then going to have something after the infinitive. And if it was a bottle is easy to open, you know, une bouteille est facile, or it's easy to open, c'est facile à ouvrir. I'm not debating whether it's elle est facile or c'est facile in this video. The point would be, it's easy to open, c'est facile à ouvrir. Then you're going to have an a before the infinitive because there's nothing after the infinitive. Okay, that's the general rule. So, on this occasion though, the version that Phil has given me, I do hope it's Phil, the version that Phil has given me is, can you explain when to use à faire or de faire quelque chose? So in other words, we've definitely got faire plus something. So it's not like, oh, why is it, Luc, why do we say à faire or de faire? It's faire quelque chose. So in other words, we've always got a complement. We've always got an object after faire quelque chose or de faire quelque chose. So this then means that it's not going to be coming necessarily after the adjective, because the examples that I've just given are when it comes after an adjective, like it's easy to something, it's easy to do. You know, this isn't necessarily after this. So what that then means is, if you're not popping it after an adjective, most of these are going to be based on, the choice is merely going to be based on the verb or the situation that you have before this anyway. So the vast majority of the answers that I'm about to give you then, Phil, are based on what verb you've got before that. So I thought if I just typed à faire quelque chose and de faire quelque chose into some kind of context finding website like Reverso or Lingui, see what comes up, and let's see if we can use the rules of the verb before it or the situation to show you what I mean. So let's go to à faire quelque chose first, all right? So, in other words, what I'm saying is, it would be based on the standard choice of preposition that the verb would use anyway. So if I said, il cherche à faire quelque chose, he's trying to do something, because it's always going to be chercher à. Yeah? Yeah, il cherche à faire quelque chose. Les provinces sont employées avec le gouvernement fédéral à faire quelque chose dans l'intérêt public. So the provinces were working with the federal government to do something. So again, s'employer à quelque chose, to employ yourself to a purpose. Vous n'avez pas à faire quelque chose seul. You don't have to do anything by yourself. Yeah? Avoir à faire in this occasion. Alors mon corps ne m'oblige jamais à faire quelque chose. My body never compels me to do anything because you are obligé à. Nous devons commencer à faire quelque chose. Yeah, we have to start doing something because you'd say commencer à. Alors je demande au ministre de commencer à faire quelque chose. Again, commencer à. I asked the minister to start doing something. Et il essaie probablement de manipuler Ellen à faire que you manipulate someone to do something. Et tu avais intérêt à faire quelque chose. You had a good mind to do something. You were obliged to do something, because avoir intérêt à faire quelque chose is to basically, have a good mind to, have an interest in doing that. It'd be relevant for you to do that. Any others? We don't want that example. Display more examples. Yeah, so in other words, it's based on the verb that you've got before. So you know the verbs that you've got before. I'm going to start the work. Je vais commencer le travail. I'm going to start to do the work. Alors je vais commencer à faire le travail. He allows me to do it. Alors il me permet de le faire. So therefore, he's going to allow me to do something. Il va me permettre de faire quelque chose. Faire quelque chose here is just a verbal possibility based after some other grammar, most of the time another verb. So let's look at the de faire quelque chose listings. So, j'essayais de faire quelque chose, mais je l'ai mal fait. I was trying to do something. Essayer de, as you know well. I'm trying to eat, alors j'essaie de manger. So I'm trying to do something. J'essaie de faire quelque chose. En revanche, les membres reconnaissent la nécessité de faire quelque chose. So, on the other hand, the members recognize the necessity to do something because nécessité de faire quelque chose. De will be your go-to bounce down for all areas of doubt when you are suddenly finding yourself in an infinitive. When you are suddenly finding yourself in an infinitive out of nowhere, de will be your bounce down. Bounce into de, up to the infinitive. Personne ne se souciait de faire quelque chose à propos de ce problème, but nobody was bothered to do something about this problem because se soucier de. Si vous promettez de faire quelque chose, faites-le. If you make a promise to do something, do it. Because you promettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. Il a donc décidé de faire quelque chose because décider de, classic. He therefore decided to do something. So in other words, Phil, do you get what I'm saying? If you sort of said to me, Luke, what are the rules of when you say à and de with faire, I could give you more answer based on if it were like adjective, à faire, adjective de faire, in a neutral, impersonal sentence like it is, or even with, you know, the bottle is easy to open, whatever. That's another situation that I described at the beginning. But on this occasion, faire quelque chose, although faire quelque chose seem very, very, very neutral and standard, they are just a definition of an infinitive verb. Okay, so the reason you are sensitized to faire and quelque chose together is they are what crops up in what we call the dictionary infinitives. So if you look up a dictionary verb, and it's a bit of a complicated combo, as I've taught you guys, you will read faire and quelque chose to represent the next verb and to represent the next complement or the next object. So for example, to allow somebody to do something, you'll read as permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. And that's just using faire quelque chose as a token neutral way. A token neutral way. Be careful when I say neutral here. I don't mean like a neutral sentence like it is interesting. You know, it's just a token, bland, non-specific way for the dictionary to say, look, this is how we'd handle a verb, another verb here, and this is how we'd handle an object if it came with that verb. And you will see faire and quelque chose, or the coding for quelque chose that will be written there. So that's why you're sensitive with quelque chose, but and faire quelque chose. But it's just another verb that is being followed by another object, which would totally depend on any one of the verbs that you use. So s'occuper de, for example, essayer de, décider de, s'inscrire à, so there's a whole, I couldn't do a video on when to use de and à and keep it under 4 hours. There's the whole argument of when you guys use de and à generally, but you see, Phil, if it will just guide you forward, that it means you've just got to look at, oh yeah, it's about the verb that comes beforehand there, on this occasion. Yeah? So whenever you've got an example then that you go, well, why is that de faire and why is that à faire? Look what the verb was doing before, or look what the situation had involved, like this bounce down de out of nowhere. Also notice if you're feeling that this de and a situation crops up on you suddenly, notice it could be because we've got a little something sneaky inserted into the sentence. Il a beaucoup essayé, malgré ses problèmes, de faire quelque chose. So, il a beaucoup essayé, malgré ses problèmes, de faire quelque chose. So he tried a lot, despite his problems, to do something. And you might be going, why is it de faire quelque chose there? Il a commencé, malgré ses problèmes, à faire quelque chose. He started, despite his problems, to do something. And you might be like, well, why is one de there after malgré ses problèmes? And why is one a there after malgré ses problèmes? It's because if you look to the left, it'll be about the verb that's there before. So do please let me know, Philippe, if that helps you, if that's going to give you, I hope to fuck it is Phil, because otherwise, whoever you are, do please let me know, and I will apologize. But yeah, do please let me know if that's a good answer. All right, let me know by all means, guys, if you found this useful. Remember, I have a Kofi link, and yep, speak soon, speak soon, speak soon.